Hey there, troopers. This is Random Game Channel back with some more tips for Starship Troopers Extermination. This one's going to be for the Ranger. So, you're probably wondering, what is the Ranger? What does it do? Why do people play it? Why should I play it? Well, let me kind of tell you about it and describe it to you. So the Ranger is the kind of class that is going to excel at moving around the battlefield like really fast, right? So they're like the most mobile class out of all the different classes. Uh, Kind of followed second place by like the sniper because they have the marathon perk to run really fast, but the Ranger itself is super mobile because of this class activated ability. But what this class excels at is getting behind enemy lines and going after high value targets like grenadiers and infernos that are way behind the front lines of the bugs, and they're just hammering the base or attacking position where the players are at. Now, there's like some similarities between this class and the snipers. Like they do share some of the same kind of like scanning technology and debuffs. And their jump jets kind of work like differently, and that's kind of where it starts to kind of deviate from each other. And so this one's kind of like an assault slash support class in my opinion. Yeah. So let's now talk about the abilities, the class special abilities for the Ranger. Survivalist. Extreme conditioning allows troopers to rapidly recover from injuries. I think that's mostly just paired with the trauma auto injector. Now, I'm not 100% sure if this provides some kind of passive healing, but from the sounds of it, it might. Now, I don't really play the Ranger all too much, because it's just not really my play style. But I can provide some small tips here and there. Try to get you a good first play experience. Let's talk about the boost jet. This one is described as provides troopers the ability to execute a powerful burst of speed. So, unlike the sniper where it's a vertical jump jet, this one's more of a horizontal jump jet. So that's going to allow you to move around the battlefield very rapidly. Okay, so now let's actually talk about the weapons. So by default, every class has access to the Morita 1, but it also has access to, where is it? The carbine, the slug shotgun, and the SMG. So let's talk about the Morita 1. This is the assault rifle that you see in the first movie. Pretty classic, iconic, and if you have to use a weapon, you're not sure of everything else, you can always default to this thing. Performs well at any range. So let's talk about the modifications. Has a reflex sight. Has a quick reload magazine, reloads faster but at the cost of a smaller mag size. Has the extended magazines, 50% larger magazine size, just lose one in your reserve. You get FMJ rounds, and you get hollow point rounds. The difference is that the FMJ rounds increases your armor piercing rating, but the trade-off is the weak point modifier becomes slightly weaker. And the hollow point rounds is kind of flipped around. It's like the opposite of that. It decreases the armor piercing rating, and the weak point modifier becomes a little bit stronger. So armor piercing matters in this game. Each bug has an armor value, and if you have an AP that is less than the bug's armor rating, you'll be dealing less damage. However, if you match or exceed it, you'll be dealing like normal damage to it. Next up is the compensator. It just helps with the recoil, makes it more controllable. And then you have the underbarrel shotgun. Gives you 6 rounds to play around with 12 in the reserve. However, there's a minus 20% accuracy while you're moving, and a minus 5% accuracy while standing and using the Merida 1 core weapon itself. But you also lose 1 magazine. That's okay. You got a lot to work with here. Moving along, Merida Carbine. So this thing, it's like a smaller version of the Merida 1. It's supposed to be more compact, deals a little bit less damage, but let's double check, let's compare. Yeah, deals a little bit less damage, but that's okay. Range is a little bit shorter. You know, the carbine implies it's a little bit shorter range, but it handles very nicely. It also has a reflex sight and a quick reload, extended magazines. It also has the FMJ, and it also has the compensator. A lot of similarities, but no room for the actual shotgun attachment, unfortunately. Split shotgun slug. So this one's a pump action, as you can see here. Oh goodness, it's hard to see with this one. Let's just go with the base color. So with this weapon, you get the reflex sight as well, but you also get a 2.5x scope, long magazine tube, 50% increased mag tube size. You just lose 1 total magazine, I guess, where that means, because there's no magazines. Basically, it just means you get 1 less set of shells to work with. Fast rack mechanism, you get 50% rate of fire increase, with a large recoil increase. You get the speed loader, reload faster, you just lose 2 shell capacity for the tube. Heavy slugs. So this is really good against bugs that have like parts of their body that don't have any armor on them, and it hits really hard, plus 30% damage. However, the trade-off is that you get minus 15% accuracy and the armor piercing becomes 1. The thing with the pump shotguns is that I forget what side it's on. Might be this one. This is probably where the ejection port is. It's a little hard to see because the gunmetal is all the same color. But I recommend to not fire the last shell in the tube, because there's like an extra animation where it got to flip it on its side, insert a shell through the ejection port here, and then you load it directly into the tube from the bottom after that. That first animation takes forever to complete, so I recommend to save that last shot. Don't fire it unless you really need it. And then one of the hardest weapons to use in the game, the SMG. So I'll save that part for last before I move on, but let's just first go over the modifications. Has the reflex sight, you really kind of need it because it's probably hard to tell. Oh, here we go. So you see these two like flaps here? That's where you're going to be aiming ADS with just your iron sights, and that just completely obscures your line of sight to anything around you. It's so awful to use, so as soon as you can use the reflex sight, I recommend equipping it, because like why not? There's no other optics. Get the same quick reload, extended mags, get FMJ, get the compensator. I really recommend using it anyways, there's no downside to it. But why is this thing so hard to use? Maybe you've heard people like say like, you know, there's a high ceiling, a high skill ceiling with this thing. Well, it doesn't deal a whole bunch of damage. The range is really short, but it makes sense, right? Because it's an SMG. You're not gonna snipe anything with it. But with the lack of damage, it makes up for the insane rate of fire, which you can see here, 1200 per minute. That's a lot. And it's best used if you have really good aim. You can hit the weak point, because this thing absolutely shreds everything if you can like get spot on aim with the weak points. Outside of that, if you have trouble aiming with this thing, probably you'll need to practice with this weapon to get a good feel for it. That's all the primaries, so let's talk about the secondaries. By default, you'll get the Peacemaker and the Emancipator. I don't really like using the Peacemaker because it doesn't deal a lot of damage. It starts to become really inaccurate at mid-range. A pistol in this game, I feel like there's only one real option that you should be using as the Emancipator, but let's kind of just go back here and talk about the modifications. So you get the standard reflex sight, extended mags, quick reload mags, FMJ, hollow point round. So that's all stuff we've talked about, but this thing, it will not stun a bug at all. So, I mean, it shoots really fast, but it's not something I'd use. The next thing that gets by default is the Emancipator. This is the workhorse pistol of this game. It's just really good. It kind of behaves the same as like if you played OG Counter-Strike, you know, 1.6, it's like the Deagle. It behaves the same. Hits hard, shoots a little slow, recoil is very high, but this thing, you can kind of snipe with it. So if you're fighting against a gunner and then your primary ammo is done, or you have like another short range weapon, this is the pistol you want to use. It can go out and hit the bugs at long range. And it's really accurate too. So modifications are pretty standard. Reflex sight, extended mags, quick reload mags, and FMJ rounds. Okay, so that's like the weapon overview. But before we move on, we still kind of need to talk about the utilities, the grenades, and the perks. So we don't actually get too many utilities. Very unfortunate, but that's, you know, it's what we've got to work with. The one that's currently equipped here is the scan beacon. This is like one of the most popular ones. You can just equip it, set it on the field. You can put it on objects, either horizontally or vertically, or you can put it on the ground itself. So it scans the enemies in a 14-meter radius. It lasts for 120 seconds. You get 3 of them. The color that they get scanned in is red, so if you're like red colorblind, don't forget, go to your settings, enable colorblind accessibility options. Okay, that'll look like is you go settings, accessibility, colorblind. You turn it on. You get green weak, red weak, blue weak, and you can turn it off. You can also adjust the colorblind intensity. But let me just reset that to 50. So that's just some stuff that you can play around with if you do have that colorblind issue, like I do have red and green. It sucks. Um, yeah. So that's the scan beacon. Scan pulse. It's the same thing except it's from your helmet. It only lasts for like 30 seconds though. The last one, it's not very popular. It's very situational. It's called the rally beacon. It just puts out a different like respawn location for troopers to spawn into. So if you die, don't respawn right away. Check your attack map. You might see something else pop up. I mean, I don't really use it. I've seen some people use it here and there. It's not widely used because it's not super useful all the time. The grenades. You do get the MX-90. That's the standard grenade. That's the one that you see Rico throw into the back of the tanker in the first movie. Next one is the scan grenade. Blows up on impact, and then it produces a scan beacon. Scans in 6-meter radius, 30-second duration. Then the next one, which I think a lot of Rangers use, High-X grenade. It's a sticky grenade, does incredible amount of damage. The explosive yield of this grenade is very, very small, but if you land a direct hit this thing, you throw it directly on the Arachnid's body, you'll be able to kill, one-hit kill, Grenadiers and Infernos. Also Tigers. I'm not sure about the Royal Guard, but those ones definitely get one-hit killed and absolutely wrecks them. So that's the thing you want to throw at those bugs when you go behind enemy lines, right? Let me get another cough drop. I've been talking all day trying to make these videos. Excuse me. Alright. Let's talk about the perks. Trauma Auto Injector. Basically, when you take lethal damage, you gain temporary invulnerability and increased movement speed. The cooldown is 30 seconds. Magazine Bandolier. It's pretty standard. It just gives you more magazines. Mobile Training increases your climb speed. Melee attacks from bugs won't stop you when you're sprinting. When you take damage from bugs, movement speed is temporarily increased, thus adding to them being super mobile. Utility satchels, you get +1 to all utilities. And then this one is kind of a auto require in Bloodlust. Regenerate health after every successful kill in close quarters. Not melee only. Don't get mistaken with the knife icon here. So any kill that you get in close range will trigger Bloodlust. It's so damn good, don't leave home without kind of thing. So currently with the galactic perks that we've unlocked, we got Fighting Retreat, we get +33% backwards movement speed, plus 50% hipfire recoil reduction. You gotta be below 50% health though for this to kick in. utility utilization. You get 1 to all your utilities. You just get minus 50% repair tool speed. Lead lined plates, you get plus 33% damage resistance, minus 33% jump height, minus 50% climb speed. This will actually allow you to survive the field a little bit longer, and I don't think the jump height and climb speed would be too much of an issue. Because you'll be able to just use your jump jet. And I think this can be offset if you have mobile training, because it does says increase climb speed. But by how much, I don't know. That's something for you to experiment with. Goodness, my throat's killing me. Need more water. Let me check OBS. Okay. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Okay. So I did mention this already, but sticky grenades, one hit kills tigers, grenadiers, infernos. Not sure about royal guards. That's the kind of stuff you want to go after. Right, recommended target priorities list. So it's pretty much the same, well, almost the same as the sniper. The only difference is where I position the gunners on this list. So in this one, top of your list are going to be infernos and then grenadiers, followed by tigers and then royal guards, because I'm not sure if they can get one hit killed by a high X. But you'll be able to dance around these two melee-oriented bugs really easily because you have the jump jets. They shouldn't be able to kill you. Last on the list is gunners, because you know, the other class, the sniper one, should be able to handle it for you. So you want to do deep dives into the enemy lines to get rid of the Grenadiers, Infernos, Tigers, and Royal Guards. Because there'll be times when those bugs are in a position where the snipers can't see them, so it's your responsibility to go in there and eradicate them. Because left unchecked, they can actually demolish the base very fast. And if you have like several Infernos up on the field, the base is going to be eternally on fire, and no one's going to be able to move around or repair anything. So it's very vital that you try and go after these high value targets whenever possible. Alright. What about the perks? So the best perks to use are going to be the trauma auto injector, because it gives you that temporary invulnerability. So that one's always kind of like an auto include for me. The next one is mobile training. That one, again, like I mentioned, is just going to allow you to keep sprinting and nothing's going to stop you. Then the next one is bloodlust. You just gotta have it on to heal yourself. So those are my top 3 picks. Something you can experiment with is taking out, you know, maybe, you know, keep the mobile training. You can probably maybe get rid of the bloodlust and replace with lead-lined plates. That's up to you to decide. But I like the top 3 that I have here because it works for me. And I like to be super mobile and not get bogged down by anything. Alright. So let's take a quick break and head into the building tutorial simulator place, the place where I spend a lot of my time in the game when I'm making these gameplay tip videos. Alright, so we loaded into the whatchamacallit, the VR training simulator, and I've built up a parkour course to try out the jump jet on. Alright, so this thing, we're just going to start here. Let's just imagine this is the lava river from Acme Prime. There's always that one super large lava river that people have trouble crossing. You're meant to go around it, but if you're a ranger, you can easily clear it. So you probably want to get a running head start because the river is pretty large in width. However, what happens if we don't jump or do a head start? You're just kind of walking. You press it. One charge will put you kind of in the middle, then you burn, then you die. Okay, so let's do it again. Let's see what it looks like if we do two in rapid succession. Okay, a little close for comfort because you're kind of skimming along the surface of the lava. Alright, so let's do it when we jump. Let's see what that looks like. You know, a walking jump. No problem. A little close, but I think you can clear it. Right? So what if we do a running head start? What does that look like? Well, running head start with a jump. You clear it a lot better. But what if we just do a regular jump and a boost? Kind of make it, right? So you kind of see what I'm trying to say here? You want to run and jump. So run, jump, boost. Okay, you clear it. Let's go to the next part of the parkour course. You see a breach in the base, like this. You can easily jump over this with a jump jet. However, if you try to jump unassisted, bugs are here and you die. So let's take a look at it again. So we're back up here, base has been breached, you want to go to the other side. Well, what happens if we walk and jump, right? Walk, jump, boost, right? No problem, right? How about just a regular boost? No problem, right? A little bit short, but it works. Same with boost. Boosting and jumping? No problem, right? So this next one, I believe it's still one grid section. And should be able to clear this, right? With room to spare. That's with a run jump. This is what it is, just a boost. Walking and boost. Jump. There you go. No problem. So, there you go. We cleared that section of the parkour course. Ooh, why is that glowing? And from where? Strange. Anyways, this one is a longer jump. This is 2 grid sizes if we're looking in terms of, you know, the base build zone. Right, that's 1 grid, that's another grid. And interesting thing, just letting you know, you can't use your activated abilities when you have the repair tool active. That's just how it is. Alright, so are we going to be able to clear this if we just do walking boost? Not really. Oh, I missed the mantle over there. I'm not good at that. What about we do a walk, jump, boost? See, we almost get there. And every time that we go down here, if there's bugs down here and it's a base breach, you're dead. I made it this time. Okay, so what if we just do a walk and a double boost? We made it, but barely, right? So what if we do, maybe that's a walk, boost, boost. What if we do a walk, jump, boost, boost? See? No problem. So jumping gives us a little bit of an extra boost to our boost. So what does this look like if we do a run? See, that's just with one boost, and you cleared 2 grid sizes. So what if we did a run, boost, boost? See, look at that. More than enough room. You almost cleared a 3rd grid here. Well, actually, sorry, that is the 3rd grid. So 1 grid, 2 grid, 3 grid, and maybe a quarter of the 4th one. So, see what I'm trying to say? You need to jump to get the most bang for your buck kind of thing, right? There you go. I mistimed it. So what about like trying to get onto vertical objects like this and you're trying to climb or mantle, right? Kind of like we demonstrated a second ago. Well, what happens when we just, walk and then boost, right? So, no problem, it's a ladder, not a big deal, right? What does it look like if we do walk, jump, boost? See, we get a little bit higher. What if we do running, jump, boost? No problem, right? Not too bad, right, so far? So we're just gonna boost over here, start the next one. But what about mantling on something that's higher above us? Can it work? Walk, boost? No. Fail, you just died to the bugs. Okay, what about walking, jump, boost? You just failed, you died to the bugs, right? Gotta play like the floor is lava. You ever play that as a kid? Floor is lava? Jumping and a boost. See, there you go. You just mantled on top of this thing, no problem. Alright, so what about if we do 2 boosts? What does that look like? Oops, I almost fell off, but the second boost will get you up and over, no problem, right? So this thing, I'm wondering, is it possible to get to the other tower if I do a run, jump, boost? Nope. I think my legs got clipped. So, oops. Just died to the bugs. Nope. Stay on there. Alright. Look at that. Look how much room you just cleared with the extra jump and run, right? So, as you can see, this class is going to be super mobile. Alright, we're almost done with the parkour course. But now, on the last thing, let's talk about canisters. So, running ore and gas canisters is going to be pretty easy for this class. Now, if you don't have any engineers or no one is bringing back a canister, you can run, but you're going to be super slow, right? Look how slow we're running. But if we do a jump boost, we're going a lot faster, right? So, well, we just died in the lava. What does it look like? Can we actually clear this? No problem. We just kind of touched like right here at the very edge, but we didn't catch fire, right? So that's one thing that's like really cool about this class. You can just, walk normally, you can run, but like boosting is going to be a lot better. Alright, so let's take for example if you need to make a tight turn while you have the canister. You can kind of rotate yourself as you're like mid-air. So let's do that. See? Not a problem. You can easily just keep jump jetting around. It does take a couple seconds to have it come back, but it should come back pretty fast. You just kind of need to space it out a little bit. Oops. Kind of like failed there. I didn't space it out. So maybe just like walk for a little bit, boost, but you kind of see what I'm saying, right? You can like do this and kind of maneuver your way around the corner like that. Oh, also, you can throw it, left mouse button. Throw it pretty far. Don't know what that button is going to be for the mouse, or not the mouse, but for the controller. So that's going to be up to you to figure out what that button is. Don't ask me because I won't know. Let's see, how mobile can you be? Look at that. That's really good, right? If you're trying to turn a corner. Let's take, for example, this is like a bug, right? This thing right here. You want to dance around it. Oops. Alright, you just dance around it. Just do this dance, and they should not be able to, like, catch up to you. Right? Kind of, practice in the VR trading simulator to build up your skills. Alright? But what about, like, if you want to practice your aim? Well, let's see, what would be a good alternative? Why don't we build bunker? So we'll do that real quick. We want something kind of large to shoot at to start off. This thing takes a while. And then the next thing we want to do is practice on a smaller target. Alright, so boost, or I didn't boost. You want to do controlled bursts. I'm not really good at the whole boosting thing while shooting, but you kind of get the idea, right? Something like that, kind of use this to help you aim. But what about something small like this? Right? Though this is small, it's about the size of a drone. So it's a good thing to practice on. Kind of do that, and hopefully that'll get you ready. So that's it for this portion of the gameplay tips video. So let's head back and go back to the loadout menu. So the next thing we're going to talk about is like your position on the battlefield. For this class, you kind of want to be everywhere. You need to be super on the ball with this class. You need to travel fast and far. Most times, you're gonna be on like the extreme edges of where the base is gonna be, or you're gonna be deep behind enemy lines. Because part of your job, like I mentioned earlier, is to go and eradicate those high value targets. Occasionally, you're going to need to camp on top of a structure or some kind of terrain piece so you can let your boost jets recover the charges, or you need to camp a spot to to kill the bugs. Like, for example, if you go to where Grenadier is, that's deep behind enemy lines, and you only got one high-X grenade, you're going to need to use one of them to blow up one of them, and then you use your weapon systems to take care of the second one. So you're going to need a camp for a second. So some camping, some mobility, but that's just what this class is excelling at. Alright, quick one right there. Next is the loadout recommendation. Something that will work for you might not work for others, or might not even work out at all. But what I've found to be pretty good is using the slug, because like, check it out, man. 1100 damage per shot. Gonna one-hit kill warriors, gunners. Not sure how many it's gonna take to take care of Tiger, Inferno, Royal Guard, Grenadier. But you're gonna be dealing a lot of damage, and you really need to place your shots well so you can kill them fast, meaning aim for those weak points. I have a whole separate video about the weak points for the bugs, so go check it out. If I remember, I'll link it in this video's description. So that's like the first thing I recommend for like the weapons. Next one, you're gonna have to master and get the XP up all the way, but I recommend the flamethrower. This thing has one of the highest armor piercing values in the game, besides the sniper rifle. So you can quite literally, again, dance around a bug while you set them on fire with this thing. Short controlled bursts are fine. That'll help you with your fuel consumption. I recommend, so these are down to your preferences, but I like the hybrid igniter. It just means you conserve your fuel a lot better. It's because it says it gets minus 25% fuel consumption. However, you get minus 50% damage to bug corpses. Whereas with a turbojet nozzle, you get plus 40% cooldown on enemies within the flame jet. So when you're actively flaming a bug, they get slowed down. However, you get plus 15% fuel consumption. And I recommend having the high capacity tanks on, because they'll allow you to shoot for longer. I never recommend the lightweight ones because we just have less to shoot with. So there you go. Now, if you want a real challenge and you want to work on your skill shots, then go with the SMG. That one has a high ceiling for your skill. Put the compensator on, put the FMJ on if you want to have a little bit of a handicap, or I guess you can consider a handicap if you want to just like work on your pure skills alone. You can leave it off if you want the full weak point modifier, because the weak point modifier is 3, and this knocks it down to 1.25. Recommend the extended magazines and the reflex sight so you can see better. So yeah. Okay, well that's it for the Ranger. Hopefully that helps you out, give you a feel for what this class is capable of, and hopefully that gives you a better first time experience playing as this class. Well, alright troopers, that's it for this one. Don't forget, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. This will let you know when the other videos are coming out. I do a bunch of gameplay videos as well as some gameplay tips here and there for Starship Troopers Extermination, but I also showcase a lot of different video games that I play for the channel. I do a lot of random stuff, the name Random Game Channel, right? And any support that you can throw my way, I greatly appreciate it because this channel is small and it's still growing. That's it for this one, folks. We'll catch you next time. See you in the battlefield.